Hello, this is Michael Gross, and you're watching What's Neat with Ken Patterson.
Let's just do this.
Yay!
All right, kids set out to pasture. And
What could possibly go wrong?
yeah,
Well, that was the first thing that was going to go wrong.
yeah.
The kids here.
Awesome! Thank you for watching What's
all the way
Neat
from
this week.
Pennsylvania tonight.
October is donation month here. Please subscribe.
Actually,
On the
rock-
$50 level, you get a signed autographed poster of us. On the $100 level, you get to come in and be part of the show.
No, that should be like a $5,000.
On the $5,000 level, you get me coming to
Okay,
your
all
house
right.
and doing some barbecue.
On the $6,000 level, we give you a tote bag.
All right, we got to cut that out. We'll cut that out post.
It's not cutting out. This is the way it is, boys and girls. What a great night to do a show. Ready, set. Look who's running camera tonight.
I know.
What's Neat Security?
Doug's here.
I love you, Doug.
Alrighty.
All right.
Best hobby in the world, guys. Okay, give me a countdown. Let's have some fun tonight.
Let's go with 3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you.
And by GL Robotics, with over 61 colors of 3D printing filaments in stock, your gateway to new technology. Check out their website at glroboticsusa.com.
Further support is provided by K&R Models. We dare to build. Check out their website at knrmodels.net.
Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com.
Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975.
Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com.
Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 210 for October 1st, 2022. How did it get to be October? I have no idea, but the weather and the trees, we're so looking forward to sharing that with you in this upcoming 4 weeks, because yes, we got to do 4 shows this month. There's 5 weekends in this month, and it's going to be great. The November What's Neat video is done, and in that video, I share with you how to build Leitner trestle on the Rio Grande Southern Railroad. It's an absolutely comprehensive video from start to finish, how to build the base, the diorama, the trestle, absolutely 1-to-1 to scale, using photographs from all the beautiful Rio Grande Southern books that we've got at our disposal. It's going to be a great video this month on What's Neat. So tonight we've got a lot of amazing people on the show with us, and sitting off over here, look who's back. We've got Mike, Budde.
Hey, howdy, Internet people.
It's awesome to have you, Mike. Sitting right next to me, I've got Sugar Fire Joshua Barton.
What's up, everybody?
And we've got some B-roll to show of his new restaurant that he's opening up 3 miles south of here in Arnold, Missouri. And believe you me, the sandwiches that I got the other day were delicious. I know, right? Sitting right next to Joshua Barton, I've got James Regier. Hey, James.
Hey, guys.
He's going to share with us that beautiful brand new Blue Goose locomotive from Broadway Limited Models. It's an amazing model to actually look at.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting right next to James Regier, I've got TJ Weber.
Hey, Ken.
He develops and creates models for our industry in HO scale, which they're going to share with us tonight. And him and his father are also big time in the G scale. Sitting right next to TJ, I've got Dave Weber. Hey, Dave.
Hello.
You gentlemen drove all the way here from Pennsylvania, and it's awesome to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Great to be here.
I've written down absolutely no show notes this night. I've got some beautiful steamboat footage that Holly and I went out and chased a steamboat, and I'm going to share that with you next week on the show because it's awesome when you've got a partner that just says, hey, that's a beautiful boat that just went by. Grab your camera, Ken, and get some footage of it for the show. So we jumped in the truck, we chased it, and I can't wait to share that with you because it's so awesome. I haven't done this. I've chased trains, but not boats. But how awesome is it to model boats on our layouts?
Well, and how often do you see steamboats anymore? Like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
It had the real live whistle and the whole bit.
Oh, that's
it was
awesome.
definitely
Very
steam.
cool.
Plus, it's not moving fast, so it should be pretty easy
Right.
to chase.
You'd be surprised.
That's true.
From the JB Bridge back down to here, we just got the tail end of it, so we ran all the way down to Kimmswick to actually catch a real live run by. So yeah, it's faster than you think. Depends on if it was upstream or downstream, and there was actually 2 of them going in 2 different directions.
Wow, very
one day?
cool.
Wow.
It was amazing.
crazy.
That's for next
Wow.
week. K&R Models, our wonderful friend Keith that has K&R Models, will be on the show next week. That is October 8th to share with us about his wonderful company. He is going to send me that beautiful GT3 locomotive, which is a steam locomotive that is actually a turbine, similar to that of the old Pensy locomotive that Lionel trains made so famous around our Christmas trees. He's also sending me the Shay, which is the first locomotive that he's producing for the American market. And the one thing that he said to me on the phone this week that really hit me hard was, quality is the most important thing about my models. If it doesn't run good on my layout, I would never sell it to a customer. So everything that he develops and has made is then tested through the races on his layout just to make sure, through the paces I mean, just to make sure that everything works perfect. How many manufacturers do that? I was very impressed with the fact that that to him is so important. So we look forward to having Keith on the show. Check out his website at knrmodels.net. He makes a lot of beautiful models that you've seen running in the UK. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. And we look forward to you, Keith, being on the show on the 8th. So with that, I could go all kinds of directions here, but I'm so excited. I'm probably going to go to Dave and JT to let them talk about some of the wonderful models they're making for us to run on our layout and some of the G-scale 3D printed stuff that they are now creating. Gentlemen?
Well, thank you, Ken. So I guess we'll start with the eye candy, the Southern Pacific
I
GP60.
know, right? Is that beautiful? Look at that.
Yeah.
Can I touch it?
Apparently you are.
Yeah, you already did.
You ran that tonight on the Garden Railroad, and we've got some beautiful footage of it running on the Garden Railroad. I shot this one run by where the trestle used to be with the beautiful not yet fall colors in the backyard, but you can see the river and all the beautiful cars running behind it. Not so beautiful, they're actually weathered because all my freight cars spend all their time outside. And then you gentlemen spend some time out on the deck outside enjoying the perfect temperatures that we've got. It hasn't gotten higher than 70 degrees here in St. Louis, and the weather was absolutely amazing in that I shot this B-roll of you guys waving at the camera and enjoying watching this beautiful SP locomotive pulling some cars. And this is not an Aristocraft locomotive.
No, this is American Mainline Models, or a subsidiary of AccuCraft, and we've been waiting for this model for many years.
That's awesome.
You guys in HO, you get new models every other week. It seems.
You're right.
The problem is I don't have enough money.
Right.
This is the first new model since the Aristocraft GP40, I believe. So we're talking like 15 years.
That's awesome. I
And,
spent 6 hours yesterday getting the Garden Railroad trimmed because it has not been touched since the Anna show that we had in town, which it looked perfect for then, but it also looked perfect for your visit tonight. All the track
good.
was together, the deer damage was fixed, the weeds were cut, and the rain that we had here, which caused the mud to actually go over the top of the track, that all got cleaned up. And the whole time I was saying how bad I want to get rid of my Garden Railroad.
And that's kind of our HO friends, I kind of kid with them. I says, you go away for 2 weeks, you go out of the basement, you turn the lights off, you come back down 2 weeks later, there's a little dust. On the G-scale railroad, you can have a mudslide. For sure, you're going to have 2-foot-high weeds.
Yeah.
Well, like I've
Deer
always
tracks.
said, a G-scale layout is a wonderful thing to have at a friend's house where you can visit it.
You get rid of the G-scale. we have. What,
So if I get rid of the G scale, he's not going to visit no more?
no.
He still
Well,
has
I didn't
to
say
come.
that.
When we put the ride-on trains in the front of the house,
Oh,
that's when he's going to come back.
Holly really wants me to build that. What's that, 7.5-inch gauge?
Yeah.
I got
but now
I got
you
the
go
space
from-
for it.
Well, Daniel has that switcher locomotive he can.
Yeah,
put on
well, Mike Woody, he's gotten into that, and he has some neat stuff going on.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And you know, he's a metal worker, so I'm very confident. That
I
he's
challenge the
Yeah.
deer to mess up that track.
There you go.
It's not
That
going to
is
happen.
true. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're totally interrupting you. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Sorry.
We got into 3D printing when one of my friends showed us the resin printers and the fidelity and the beautiful detail. And he was N scale model, and he had printed lanterns for the back of a caboose, and they were like, this big, and you could see the visors, and it's like, wow, this has arrived now, because I had seen a lot of 3D printing, and it just wasn't the finish I was looking for.
Right.
And so we jumped in with this smaller machine, and the other thing in G scale, and this probably applies to O scale and S, there's no detail associates and detail west parts.
Right.
You got to make everything.
He's a real model railroader. He knows the
Yes, he
names.
sure is.
Well, I was an HO modeler all most of my life, and then 30 years ago moved to G scale. My basement wasn't big enough, in my mind, for an HO railroad from the railroad I had at my father's house.
Right.
And I had a half-acre backyard, and that's when Aristocraft had come out with the FAs and the 1950s era cars. And I said, well, I'll build a G-scale railroad in the backyard. And
That was a mistake.
30 years later, and when you have a G-scale railroad, for a midlife crisis, you don't get a Corvette, you get a Kubota.
Right.
Because it's much more useful.
Right.
Very true. Very true.
A bright orange machine instead of a red one. But where I'm going with the 3D printing, it allows us to make all kinds of parts. HO, how many different air conditioners you can get in HO? There's
Details
none
first.
available in
Right.
G scales. And
Right.
so you find something, and TJ taught himself AutoCAD Fusion 360, and draws these up and prints them. It's an air conditioner. We modeled Tehachapi in our backyard, so naturally we have Southern Pacific and Santa Fe, and the Southern Pacific were famous for the light package. So there's your
Right.
Cool.
your
Oh yeah.
That's for the back of the EMD units with the
so you got your regular
headlight.
sealed
Sure.
beam, your gyro lights, and then your emergency red light.
Right.
And
Right.
they fit on the back.
Yeah.
We were making a model and looking at the passenger car door, and it wasn't the Budde stainless steel doors have vertical fluting on them, and the door was just plain. It's like, well, we can fix that. And the other thing is, when I rail fanned and rode a lot of the Norfolk Southern steam excursions back in the 80s, the Dutch door was the best place to be, with the top open, hanging out,
Right.
enjoying the steam.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
when you 3D print, now you can open your Dutch door.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
So
Yeah, we have some guys sticking out of some windows, like a couple of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Road
That's
trains.
right.
So
I want to apologize for the sound tonight. We've got about 15 people here tonight. A lot of them are outside, and all the windows are open. So
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. So
It is.
how many days of the year to get to do that?
right, we're all going to have a bonfire tonight, I have a feeling.
And we've had manufacturers go out of business in G scale as well, and Aristocraft was that, and they had rotating cap AP bearings. Well, the manufacturer's out of business, and just make your own.
Perfect.
So solve that problem. So it solved a lot of problems in G scale for me. And beginning of the pandemic, we were here last year. We were making the flat cars, and we're morphing that into a kit form. But we had a friend. We'd run operating sessions in our area, and one of our friends talked about, you should make a G38 Pennsylvania Railroad ore car,
There
because
you go.
Stewart Models and then Bowser made the G39, which is a little bit taller, but the G38 was a shorter car. And when you saw the Pennsylvania trains, you had the stepped cars, and in HO they're all the same height. So there's one G38 that exists over in New Jersey, and we went over with camera and tape measure and measured it all up, and TJ started drawing. So
TJ, you're
Yep.
amazing. Hey, James,
Wow.
do me a favor. Pull off that microphone and close that window for us real quick.
Yep.
Now, I want to ask you, you know we've got GNLRoboticsUSA.com. We work with Greg Summerland. And my question to you that we talked about on the phone is those resin printers that he sells on his website, those are the type of printers that you use to print this stuff, similar, same as
just a different
resins.
manufacturer, and
Yep.
simply because we didn't know about him when we bought ours.
Right,
you know.
and so the viewers, if they wanted to do what it is you're doing tonight, they could pick up a wonderful machine from Greg.
Yeah, and well, I mean, if we think about, we start with
Thanks, James.
something
Yep.
simple like a speaker box. You know, when we're models, we would have got out some styrene, got out the
Right.
X-Acto knife, cut
Yeah.
it, and glued it together.
Absolutely.
And you know,
No.
TJ now draws it up and hits print, and then you can have as many as you want.
And they're much tighter than what you can do
All
in
the
styrene.
dimensions are tight.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing that was very handy in making the cars is to make tooling. And exactly what you're saying, James, I'm within a couple thousands, and it's the repeatability.
Yeah.
And you can't drill, even with a drill press, maybe 10,000s accuracy.
Yeah.
And with the 3D printer, it's just repeatable.
It's dead on, repeat.
Same spot every
So,
time.
you don't always have to
Man.
think, I'm going to make a car. The 3D printer becomes a tool to help you model.
Yes.
Everything is a tool. In the G-scale cars, there was 3D printed parts, there's steel formed parts, and there's the old rubber mold with two-part epoxy.
Right.
It's every media has the right application. You got to find the right application for the media.
Right.
And in the HO, they're so small that the 3D printer becomes the media. And so, take it away, TJ.
Well, yeah, the G38 was what we started in the HO market because we'd always been, like our friend had been talking about doing the G39s that Bowser has and then the G38s to go with them. So we released those to the public last year. I think I had some pre-production ones on the show last year when we were here. So now we're over a year into sales. We're waiting on parts for some more to fill some more orders. We're over 500 cars have been sold, and they're all made in the USA. I mean, I assemble all of them myself and do all the building myself.
Are these some right here?
Yeah, those are the G38s there.
Doug, can you get these cars on film? Can you see these? These are the beautiful models
I mean, they're exquisite.
Yeah.
that
Yeah, that's-
TJ is making, and he's decaling these, and you've sold 500 or so of those so far. That's a lot of work.
Are
Yes,
you
it's-
making the loads as well? That
Yeah,
go
the
into them?
loads have not been released yet. That's a pre-production at the moment,
Very
but that's actually a
cool.
3D printed load as well. And then
Really?
for the profile of it, then it's some Woodland Scenics iron ore ballast.
So I
Nice.
can just
On top
pick
of it.
that load right out of it and make it an empty car, and
Yep.
when I need to
Yeah.
fill it up,
With a magnet? Or
Yeah, I have a
Right.
magnet in the bottom so you can pick the loads
Nice.
right out.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's
Yeah.
what Rapido has in fact done
That's a
for
good idea.
their hopper guns.
How about that?
Yeah.
that is a
Now,
great
and
idea.
you've also brought with you some of the models that are fresh out of the printer. Is
Yep,
that
this
what
is
these are?
what the G38 looks like coming out of the printer.
Okay.
So in the other way, you can see that these cars weigh about 2.5, 3 ounces to get closer to the old Stewart diecast ones. So all those holes is where the lead shot weight goes inside the car, and then there's a styrene floor on top of it to give them weight. We've run them on our friend's layout in an 80 car train to the Stewart diecast cars over a 3% grade with no issues. So just like the K&L guys, these went through battle testing to make sure they're ready to go for the public, so they
That's
ran
nice.
good.
That's
So
quality control.
Great.
And
Absolutely.
we were concerned that the resin can get brittle. And we were concerned with longevity and the pulling forces. Would we break things? And successful tests.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah.
So they've been a really good seller. We're probably going to be coming out with some more, another Pennsylvania Railroad prototype, probably at the Amherst show we'll have that.
And what resins are you using?
Where I usually use a mix of the Alegu ABS-like and then Soriatec Blue to give it some more strength.
Oh, okay.
I've
Yeah.
heard you say that name.
Yeah, Soraya
So
Tech
it's
Blue. Yeah.
it's kind of a blend. It's a blended mix of a ratio I use to get a the blend between affordability.
So you're
and
mixing two kinds of resin together?
Yes.
To make your
Right.
prints.
So it gets a little bit more of the flexibility of that Ceratec blue with the
Okay.
And the Ceratec Blue is much more expensive.
yes,
So
that
you
is
know,
true.
basically-
That's a trade-off.
Yeah.
So
And then, you know, the other beauty of the Pennsylvania model was it went from Pennsylvania to Penn Central to Conrail. So there's 3 different modeling
Very cool.
people you
Right.
appeal to, and you announced. Originally, you just put it on two Facebook groups.
yeah, and within a day, I had orders for over 80 cars, which just blew me
Wow.
away. So we've had them out.
It's like we got a problem. We got to
There's
scale
no
up.
demand
A
for it,
good
yes.
problem.
Yes, it's a good problem to have.
Right.
Well, I've shared my Pac-Man train back there that I run, which is the Athearn version of those cars. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the Athearn. It's a prototype for the Southern Pacific model.
Okay, and then Bachmann also makes one of those cars in their line in 1 or 2 numbers, I believe. And you know about all of these types of cars.
Yeah, I've gotten relatively familiar with the different HO ore models to get the correct G38 for the Penske one. So the Penske and the Conrail is what we came out with originally. Then earlier this year, we announced and released the Penn Central. So we have orders for over 50 of those now, and we're waiting on parts now to come in to get them finished. So we're working
awesome.
through orders
Very
and
cool.
doing some more advertising for them.
You should probably, you know, we're using KD couplers and where your trucks are coming. Explain the truck part too.
Yeah, the trucks we get from Bowser along with the wheels, so they're all good metal wheels. Bowser does a really good job on their trucks
yes.
and wheels.
Yep.
And I put KDs on because you start with the best. So
Absolutely.
Here comes Amtrak. I'm not going to make you open the window so we can hear it go by, but when he was talking,
yeah,
I
you
heard
can
the
hear the
whole.
air horn.
I can hear the sound of
And
headphones.
the difference in the trucks too.
Yeah,
the Pennsylvania Railroad being the very frugal railroad they were. They took trucks off of old hopper cars and recycled them on their new cars.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
So yeah, they were the original. They're crown cast trucks is what they call them. And then the Conrail and the Penn Centrals have a Bettendorf truck under them. So they were never interchanged. So they were still friction bearing trucks.
Okay.
So there's 2 different trucks on them. All are correct for them. And then they're all, as I said, they're all made in the USA. And I'm the manufacturing team.
Awesome. All right,
Very
so
cool.
for the folks that are watching this show that may not be privy to your Facebook page, how would they go about ordering these cars from you now?
So you can go to ovrailcar.com. There's a page for the G38 there, and you can email us at sales@ovrailcar.com. And we also are on Facebook as Ole Valley Railcar. Ole Valley is where we live, so that's what we kind of put the namesake for it. We never had any trains in the Ole Valley, but
We had a trolley. A
had a
trolley ran
trolley.
through the Ole Valley,
But-
but we're one hill over from the NS main line on the old Reading East Penn. So we hear
Yes.
trains, but
Yeah.
they never ran through.
That's kind of tortuous being able to hear them and not see them.
yeah, we'll be out in the backyard at night working. We can hear them going past the several different grade crossings.
Yeah.
It's like, TJ, the sound sounds good on that engine. It's like, that's the real one.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
You
nice.
guys are definitely filling a void with these little G-scale fine-tuned parts. You know?
I know, right?
Yeah,
Now,
Right.
so are you open to if someone says, I need this specific something for something, will you work on
Yeah,
developing
I've done
parts with
custom work
people?
for different, and a lot of the parts I'm going to have available on the website as well. Like the air conditioners, and if people are doing the SP stuff, we have some of the lighting package stuff. And for other like the USA trains, SD40-2s, we have kits to replace the grills to give them later phase SD40-2 grills.
Nice.
So
Okay.
adds a lot of different, gives it a lot more, be able to do fine scale modeling in G, which is something that hasn't really been available other than some very limited parts for the modern diesels.
The things that you can do on the computer-aided design programs, I mean, these two guys here.
I know, right?
They're top-notch with it. I mean, everything that I see coming out is just amazing stuff.
I know. James and him are going to go out and bond tonight.
I know. It's awesome. It's
Bond at the
awesome.
bonfire.
Best time in the world.
Him and James going to bond.
Now, if you guys
James
want
Bond.
to build, if you want to do your own 3D printing, again, gnlroboticsusa.com. This would not be a filament printer that you would look for something like this. This is where you would want to get your resin printer from Greg Summerland. Check it out. Products on the phone, setup, and information if you need help. He's there for you 100%. Something you can't get from Amazon. Gentlemen, that's awesome. It's absolutely amazing.
Very cool.
Now, James Regier, you brought some eye candy tonight.
I did indeed. So these this was at RPM Meet back in 2019. I was there and I talked to Dan Darnell. I said, Dan, I've seen you make all these FA units and all of this. when's the PA coming out? Like, this is torturing me, man. He said, I don't know anything about that. Well, come Train Fest, and they had made their announcement that they'd scanned Doyle McCormick's PA1, and I was like, yeah, well played, Dan. Well played. Yeah. These models are awesome. I've had a chance to run them at K10's model trains a few times, and tonight we're probably going to be showing the run-by right now, where I'll have them pulling the El Capitan around Ken's layout.
No, go slow, because this is going to be beautiful. Check out these locomotives. These things have been scanned.
Yes,
this is
this is based off of a 3D scan of Doyle McCormick's fully restored PA1. It was a Santa Fe PA1 that went to the Delaware and Hudson, then went to Mexico, came to Doyle McCormick in pieces. He restored it to Nickel Plate Road.
Nice.
Now, the Museum of the American Railroad in Frisco, Texas, has another PA1 that they're currently working on restoring. They have the roof just about ready to go, the cab roof. The original was smashed in so badly they couldn't restore it, but they found a donor off of a FA unit. And so little by little, they're getting this unit together. But Rapido has finally released their unit, and I'll just say the detailing is absolutely splendid. It's a very rare moment where, actually until now, where I've opened up a locomotive box, set this thing on the track, and the only thing I could really think of to do with this was to paint the front couplers silver, because that's the way the Santa Fe had them, and they're not going to do that in the factory because things can go wrong if you paint your couplers, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, Rapido did an out of the ballpark hit. With
So would
these
you
guys.
say this is probably the most accurate PA that's ever been produced?
From the PAs that I've seen that have been produced, and granted I've not seen much brass, these are definitely above and beyond.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all that detail on the front.
I mean, you look at these. These are. I mean,
everything.
these represent the later, like probably after rebuild, circa 1950.
That's awesome.
Where they took away the coupler covers up front, which were constantly open. Where they added the radio antenna platforms, switched from the dual single tone air horns to the S5T up there. Added the nose step lights. I mean, it's all there. It looks just like the photos. So I've had these pulling the Fast Mail Express, which was one that they frequented. It's been a lot of fun. And
Jason Schron just knocked it out of the park again. Good job, Jason.
Rock and roll.
All right, and let's talk about the blue elephant in the room.
The Blue
Well, the
Goose.
Blue Elephant. But one more thing I'll just say about Rapido before I move on is I have so long been impressed by just how they're pushing the envelope in so many ways. Like I was just in awe at the RPM meet. I was talking to Matt Gentry about their new GP7, I think it is, or is it a GP9 CN? You know, the cow with the slug. Mm-hmm. That's a flattened GP9 that's going to be fully operational. Like it's going to be powered under its own power, have a sound decoder. And I was like, man, if you pull that off, that. And Matt was like, if. What do you mean if? It's over. You get out of here. And so
Wow.
So yeah, I am just in absolute awe of the way these guys are on the edge. Now this, of course, is the new Broadway limited Blue Goose. This represents the model not as it came to the Santa Fe, but as it was the first time it went through a maintenance shop.
Right. They took off the skirting.
They took off the skirting because it turned out to be a complete pain for the crews working on it.
Right.
And this was more or less the form that the Blue Goose held for much of its operating existence. And if you see operating photos of the Blue Goose, it's almost always like this. If you see the publicity photos when it was new, it had the skirting and all that.
That is correct.
But it's with the telescoping chimney now, or smokestack. Now, sadly, the Blue Goose, of course, went to the scrapyard. One of the Super Hudsons, one of its sisters, was preserved in Topeka as a park unit, but it wasn't streamlined, of course.
Okay.
But I have yet to test this, so I'll be testing this tonight, and you're also watching.
Do we get to show a run by?
Yes, absolutely.
Look at that.
I know, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So now we're showing a run by of this, and
Now
what
we're
is
showing
this pulling?
Well, this will also be pulling the El Capitan because
Okay.
that's what I have here, and I'm not going to pack away and unpack another train. Now, granted, the Blue Goose was history before the
Right.
high-level El Capitan came out, so you're going to have to forgive a few prototype liberties that I'm going to be taking to make this happen.
We'll
but,
allow it this time.
Yeah. And then, of course, I have a couple hot rods.
Yes, you keep talking about those little hot rods.
Yeah, these
And
these
you're
little guys
enjoying,
right here.
and you did get your 3D printer from JNL Robotics.
Yeah.
And so far you're getting a lot of use out of
I
that.
am getting a lot of use of it, and if I may, I'd like to give some tips and tricks to using that thing.
Okay.
Just because there are some things that when you get a 3D printer, it's not just push the button and it comes out. I mean, a lot of times in an ideal world, that's what it is. But you have the FEP film you got to worry about. You have the screen that you got to worry about if you spill resin on it. You have the little knobs that you got to worry about. There are a lot of aftermarket parts that you'll want to consider getting before you start using your 3D printer.
So, so it's like anything else, you can upgrade it.
You can upgrade it.
Okay.
I found it very helpful to put a plexiglass screen over the LCD screen
To help protect
that
it.
way. That way the resin doesn't drip on it. I've also found on Etsy some people have created those knobs, for the resin vat and that you adjust for the printer face out of aluminum billet.
Right.
Which is more durable.
Plus,
and that
you've
kind of
also experimented with a lot of various
Yes.
types of resin because
Yeah.
the one that you showed off last week or 2 weeks ago on the show was a flexible resin so that
Yes.
your radio antenna wouldn't break.
Yeah. Now I did find that when you put a blanket over it to protect against dust from masons cutting your brickwork out of the side of your house,
We all have that.
then it will break. So you don't want to take it for granted that it's not going to break. But
Right.
you can always print new ones and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of different resins out there, and it's fun to experiment with.
Good job, James. All right, we got Mike Budde with us tonight. Everybody loves Mike.
Yeah, thanks.
Doug, he's always. I don't even see your shot what you're getting, but Mike, dude, it's so awesome to have you back. You've been gone
thanks.
for a while.
Yeah, thanks. I had some vehicle-related things 3D printed tonight I was going to bring, but I'll wait till next week to bring them. But a fellow from New England, Barry Benoit, sent me a GMC pickup that looks very, very nice. So
Yes.
I'll be bringing that and showing it next weekend.
What's this truck on the table?
And that's from, it's an Athearn truck that Kevin Nyheisel from New Lenox, Illinois, Chicago area, he weathered it and painted both of the trailers like they were really, scratched and dented from the inside. And he, the three-wheeler, the dolly is all detailed with hydraulic lines and everything.
That's super duper.
They all actually hooked together,
detailed,
but he did
awesome.
he put a scratch-built air conditioner on the cab roof and did all the piping and everything. And
Usually I
So
hate
he's-
seeing those kind of trucks because they're going to knock me off of the highway.
Right,
Yeah.
It looks
right.
pretty good on
Yeah.
the table right there.
yeah, I remember those growing up, and those were
They
all
were
over
everywhere.
the country. Yeah, right.
Very cool.
Along 44, old 66.
Good job on that
So
truck.
thanks to him. But
Yeah. you
anyway,
did a
I'll
great
have
job.
some more vehicle. Oh, Bob Johnson sent me some PCX Lincoln Mark V's, Mark 5s. They're really beautiful. I'll bring those next week and show them to
Wow.
you guys. So.
Oh, it's so good to have you back, Mikey.
My uncle had one of those Lincoln Mark 8s.
Yeah.
And it was mid-90s model. He told me it had a slight steering wheel wobble at 120 miles an hour.
I'm crazy about a Mercury.
Yeah.
Then he said he fixed it, so...
Yeah. Well,
slowed
these
down.
models are just are
slowed
incredible.
down.
So.
Real quick.
No, knowing him, he did not.
All right, Joshua, I shot some B-roll of you eating a sandwich and some other B-roll of your restaurant. Tell us about what it is they're looking at right now.
So, as us welcoming ourselves to Arnold and letting everybody in Arnold know about Sugar Fire and our store coming up, we decided to work with the Arnold Food Pantry and we gave away 1,000 pulled pork sandwiches in 4 hours.
Yes.
And it was amazing. All you had to do was bring a canned good to the storefront here, and we had the brisket mobile out there.
Here's
and
the footage of that.
The brisket van, brisket
The
2.
vans, yes.
And there are food trucks in our delivery van, and so we decided we're going to pull right up in front of where the store is, and we're going to give away some sandwiches. So
You also narrated this video where you took a bite out of crime. It was just comical because I didn't know what you were going to do when I was holding the camera, and all of a sudden...
I never know what I'm going to do with barbecue.
We love you, Joshua. We love you. All right, TJ Weber, give us that website one more time so they can get these beautiful little Jennies out of you.
It's ovrailcar.com, and you can email us at sales@ovrailcar.com. And we sell the cars as singles, 4-packs, or if you have a big train, we have a 12-pack available as well to give you a little bit more bulk pricing on them. And if I can give a shout out for the people that are out there that are G-scalers to get your stuff, we got our Jeep 60 from RLD Hobbies. They're about 2 hours east here in Albion, Illinois. Robbie's a great guy. You can always get good stuff from him. So.
Now I heard you talk about planning to make an M out of it.
Yes, well, AML will be making the M most likely themselves, and we're definitely going to be making Jeep 60Bs to get
Very
the
cool.
Superfleet ABBA set.
Oh, yeah.
Of
You
Ms.
definitely need Super Fleet if you model the Santa Fe.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
in Tehachapi, we had the 991 and the 199, so
Yeah.
they had those on. So
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome, guys. All right, Doug, come back to me as I tell you that this is the best hobby in the world with some of the best people in it. Tonight I'm going to give James Regier the Hammerhead throttle. This is the Pro throttle from NCE. This is a system that we like to use down here in the basement. It's coming up on Christmas. There's nothing better as a gift than to give your favorite model railroader that's wanting to get into the DCC, the Dcc System from NCE, because it's upgradable. You can start out with the simple system, which is the power cab, which comes with the Hammerhead throttle, a cord, and a faceplate. And it's all just perfect power supply. Everything's ready to go, which is also upgradable, or the Pro system that we use down here in the basement to run trains.
And you can build it from there.
I know, isn't it
It
awesome?
is awesome.
All right, guys, with that said, I think we just shot number 210 for October 1st. Here comes Halloween, boys and girls.
It's October already?
It is. Go outside, you'll feel it. All right, guys, this is the best hobby in the world. And yes, I was wearing my jacket tonight from Denny Yelsma. Thank you very much.
Hi, Denny.
With that said, everybody sitting at the table, thank you for being here. Doug, thank you very much for running camera for us tonight. And let's go run some trains.
All right. I want to see this thing run.
Dang.
All right. That was smooth.
That was really good. Yeah. Good job.
Let's do a thumbnail.
All right.
Ready?
Sounds good. Hold
Alrighty.
on.
What do you want to hold?
Jeep 60?
I'm gonna pick up the Jeep 60.
Just grab an ore car instead.
Yeah.
Okay, boys and girls, thumbnail shot. That's where you look at the camera and smile, and we get the shot for YouTube as Doug gets a wide shot of all of us. And
How wide can you get it?
I know. Look at you got the What's Neat from
I
Steve
got all
Hurt.
60 in the frame right now.
Yeah.
I've got the cup from Flower. Thank
It's
you very
glittery.
much. And from James Wright, the award.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay, everybody show teeth. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Yay. Great show.
Keep camera 1 rolling.
Please take your microphones off before you step off the plane.
Good idea.
Run away and see if
Step
it-
on any cords.
I know. Let's go light a bonfire. This is awesome. I get to call Holly and tell her to come home now. Come on home, Holly. Good job, boys and girls. Good job, Joshua.
We're semi-professional.
We got sound tonight. I know we did.
Almost look like we know what we're doing.
Emphasis on almost.
Yeah. Almost.
We didn't give Carrie a shout out in the audience.
No, we should have.
She's probably okay with that.
That's all right. It's running in the B-roll right now.
kill
Yeah,
that?
yeah, go ahead and kill number 2. Thank you very much, Doug, for running camera
You're
tonight.
welcome.
Yeah.
This worked out really
Security. Security's back.
Back
Security.
at it. Back in the saddle.
You got 2 jobs now, they can up your pay.
That's
Good
right,
job,
yes.
Joshua.
We gotta make a profit
good.
zero.
I'm so glad to have Mike back.
I know. I can't wait
Mike is back.
bring next
All
time.
right,
Yeah,
friend.
thanks. I'm back.
I know. I'm just.
I was
I'm
never
happy
really
as can be.
gone.
Good.
All right, you guys can turn your cell phones back on, and I'm going to kill sound. We're good.
Get some air real quick.
Keep camera 1 running still in case I need the footage. And we have a 37-minute
you
live show
laughing there?
tonight.
That's great.
I'm the only
Did you guys say everything you wanted to say?
Where
Dave
is it?
and TJ?
What's
everything
that?
you wanted to say came up?
Yeah.
Good.